Okay, sorry about the poor audio quality. Well, I hope this one's good, but I had to remove the original audio quality issues. But anyway, yeah, you can see blocking out the body without any subdivision modifiers, just using a regular cube and a mirror modifier. You don't have to do a subdivision modifier for every base mesh, okay? You can just go in with a square depending on how it looks. Although you'll see in a second that I am going to use some subdivision modifiers for things like the limbs, because that is very important. You want them to look round. You have to make them look more organic. You can't just have them be blocky, because that affects when you are remeshing it and sculpting it with hard edges. It doesn't look good. Also, another thing that I will say is that make sure you have a side reference image if you are going to be using a real life animal as a reference. I just found this weird prehistoric crocodile thing, so I couldn't really get any real life reference. So you can see I had to draw it myself. You can see how good I am at drawing, you know, just saying. Another thing is that it doesn't have to be perfect when you're blocking out, just get the overall basic shape and feel of it. You can see I made it a bit skinnier than it actually is going to. Then it actually is going. There you go, I got it right. The reason it's skinnier now is because I'm going to be adding muscle to it. So I'm going to be adding more, I don't know what you call digital clay, I guess. Yeah, I want it to look more muscular, so I'm making it look skinnier now, so I can just keep adding to it, you know. I'm like making it look more built, more beefy and big. Also, you're going to notice, I think I might as well just say this now, you're going to notice that the face cam in the corner keeps getting bigger and bigger, because for some reason OBS just made it grow. Pause. Every time I kept pausing and then replaying the video. It was really annoying, so please forgive me for that. It won't happen again in future videos, okay, I promise. It's also weird because you can just see my head yapping in the corner. Also, another thing, I might as well mention this now, because I was going to do it at some point. This model was for sale. No, this video isn't just me advertising it. I genuinely wanted to make a video on how I made it. Sort of, kind of how I made it. I mean, it's a time lapse, so it's not really in detail, but you get what I mean. This model was only for 25 quid. I don't know what that is in USD, but it's probably a little bit more. Only £25 right now, okay, on Gumroad, and I'll put a link to that right now. I'm going to be adding a lot more. But yeah, that's for the first 7 days after the video releases, so if you want it, and you can get it, if you really, really want it, get it now, because it will go up in price. I'm only doing that for the first 7 days because it is my first one I'm selling, so it's only fair. Also, another important thing I have to say, when you are modeling or blocking out the creature, because you are blocking out the proportions as, you know, so it's ready for sculpting, you really want to make sure you are checking from every angle when you are doing it, okay? Don't just focusing on a little small bit of the model and then zoom out after, okay? It's going to look weird. You're going to focus on something like the head. You're going to be sculpting that or changing the shape of that, and you think it looks good until you zoom out and it's like twice the size of the neck and doesn't fit the body anymore, okay? So work on little bits of the head at a time for only like a couple minutes. Zoom out, make sure it looks good with the rest of the body, okay? And that goes for any other part of it. And I think when you're sculpting characters in general, you want it to look proportionate, even if it is a fictional character, okay? You don't want to make it look like Popeye or something, okay? Just big ass forearms, that's bad. Don't want to do that. Always check, okay? Always. I've had that problems many times before when I was starting out, and it really annoyed me, and I didn't know why, because, yeah, I mean, I was new, but still. By the way, if you are making a fictional creature, I think it's always best to use real life references, okay? Even if it is like a dragon, like wait, is that a dragon? I called it a lizard dragon or a dragon lizard thing because it doesn't really, it's neither of those. But if you are making a fictional character or creature like a dragon, it was always good to use a real life reference of a real life creature, okay? Even if it doesn't really exist anymore. But it's better to use ones that still do exist, like crocodiles or lizards like I'm doing, okay? Just so you can get a feel for the proportions. You'll see it because I'm remaking one of my old models. You'll see, I'm going to put it up on screen now. That looks like a sausage roll. It looks like a Greg's sausage roll with little tiny arms and a head that's too big for it. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I do not like the way it looks now. At the time I thought it was sick, but I guess that's what happens when you kind of progress, you know, you look back, oh, that's kind of crap. Oh, another important thing, when you are making, for majority of the time at least, I don't say all the time because there are cases, but when you are making something like the head, okay, you want to make sure the jaw is open. Doesn't have to be all the way open, but just separate from the upper mouth or upper head, I guess, because when you remesh that, there's probably going to be no way or no easy way, okay, to open the mouth, because you realize, oh, I can't sculpt the inside of the mouth. He's just going to have a shut mouth. Oh, by the way, this will be available for Blender 4.5 and from 4.1 onwards, okay? It's not going to break or anything if you import it from 4.5 to 4.1. That's what I did. You'll see maybe in this video you can see the HUD, okay, the UI change at the top, how it goes from a grey bar to a white bar. If you see that, that means I'm changing between the two. It's just gonna, if you try and save the model, okay, for whatever reason when you buy it and you're in a different version of Blender, it'll just give you a little warning, an overwrite warning, but that won't do anything as far as I know. Okay, it works perfectly fine, and I do that all the time because my add-ons are pretty messed up between the two versions. They're kind of shared. You're gonna see here, okay, this is a prime example of what I mentioned earlier. Please check the proportions, okay? You'll see here from the side, look. Wait a second. Here, from the side. It looks fine from the side, okay? It gets better, but right now it looks fine from the side. You'll see when I go to the front view here, okay? Well, I mean, it's kind of quick, but you'll see when I go to the front view, it is very, very weird. Okay, it's too wide. The front of the mouth is too disproportionate from the rest of the head. It looks odd. Look, side view, it's fine. Front view, look at that, not so much, but just check, be sure to check. And you can see in the end anyway, I did change the shape of the head to make it look more dragon-like than more, you know, less like a lizard and more like a typical dragon that you'd see. The shape of the head more pointy out the front and wider out the back. And again, it still has to resemble the original model. And if that's what the original model looks like, then I have to kind of maintain that likeness. You don't want to stray too far from that, but yeah, big improvement overall. Also, sorry, like I said before at the beginning of the video, in the future I'll make sure that my microphone actually works when I'm recording, so I don't just look like an idiot in the top corner of the video just talking about nothing and it's all sped up and I look dumb, okay? I will be sure to make sure of that. It's just because it didn't work, so don't get used to the poor quality of this video. I hope you can forgive me for that. It didn't work, I'm sorry. See here, looking for more references from other creatures, going it more into fake creatures like dragons and stuff now, or mythical creatures like that, you know. Got lizards, like I said, using real life creatures as a reference, very important. You want to make that thing look like it can exist in a world with other creatures that do exist in real life, just so it doesn't look too out of place. You can see here I'm sculpting the basic musculature of the creature now, defining it more as well, using the what do you call it, the clay tool, and then I'm using the strip tool as well and the smooth tool to remove bits, like just to make the skin look like it folds, adding ribs to it, adding muscles. Even though it is a creature like that, yes, it still has basic muscles, okay? If you know at least one or two things about anatomy when it comes to sculpting, be sure to add them in to the model, okay? Things like the shoulder and the chest muscles, the biceps, the triceps, okay? Even the forearm muscles, they still exist. You want to add that in. And you can see here I'm using a VDB brush. That's a custom sculpting brush, and I think that might be an equivalent for texture painting, but for this I'll leave a link in the description of the video on how to create your own VDB brushes, and I'll use a link as well to the ones I used in the video because I didn't create these ones, I actually bought them. But yeah, very useful. See here I'm texture painting it now. Another thing, texture painting, be sure if you're going to be doing highlights like what I'm doing, just basic highlights, Start with the dark base. I'd say it's always easier to start with the dark base and then just add highlights on top of the more raised areas. And here's an important thing, I'll put that up on screen now, you can kind of see it here already. I managed to retain a lot of the detail, if not all of the detail, even though it's drastically simplified in terms of the mesh, okay? The reason I did that is because I used a custom height map, okay? What I did is I added in an image texture to my model, connected that to the normal map, or to the normal slot on my principled VSDF, added in a height map in between the image texture and the VSDF, okay? You want to select the image texture, then you want to select the original sculpted model, okay? So that's not the one you remeshed. Then shift select the remeshed model. Then you want to go under your render settings, make sure you're in cycles, okay? Then go down to bake, switch it to normals, okay? And then you want to select selected to, okay, tick that. Then all you have to do is bake, wait for it to bake. Also change the amount the raise, okay, the amount it raises off the original model, because you don't want to have bits overlapping, and you'll be able to see that, okay? So just make sure you do that. See here I'm going over just texture painting it now, but I do go over and fix it. You can see I have more darker tones on the orange kind of beigey parts. I do change that, you see in the final product, but yeah. See here I'm doing a roughness map. Basically, if you connect an image texture or any texture to your roughness map and principled BSDF, okay, I think it might be the other way around, but I think how black something is the more shiny and wet it looks, and the white is more rough, so how dry it looks basically. So you can see here I painted the inside of the mouth black to make it look more shiny, and connected that to the roughness texture or slot on the principled BSDF. Very easy way to create a roughness map. It's very basic, you can do that very easily with any model. Oh, another thing, when you UV unwrap your model, make sure you have a consistent topology, okay? You do not want to have a mix of quads and triangles, okay? That it will be so hard to create loop cuts and sharp edges if you're gonna doing something more that looks like hard surface modeling. Do not do that. You want to have a consistent flow of, I'd recommend quads, okay, if you're doing a custom rig like this, or an animation kind of character that you're not using for a game. I'd say majority of the time quads is what you want to do, and I'm using quad remesher add-on, okay. It is expensive basically, but you can do it for free. I mean, it just takes a little while to learn. There is a bit of a learning curve, but it does save a lot of time. And another thing I did to rig the creature, you'll see here in a second, I used the wolf rig. If you go down to Rigify, if you do not have that add-on enabled, it's built in, very easy. You just go up to your edit, preferences, and then you go onto add-ons, search Rigify, and just enable that, save your preferences. I added a Rigify wolf skeleton, okay. I just edited that a little bit. You can change it to the proportions of your creature, and then you just generate the rig. It's really, really simple to use, okay, especially if you have a quadrupedal animal like I've created here. As long as it roughly matches the kind of skeletal structure of the creature, then yeah, you should be fine. But if you are creating a more complex creature that has maybe like 3 limbs or something like that, you can add limbs with Rigify. I'll add a tutorial to a video about that in the description too, because that's what I used. I'll try and find that exact video. It's very useful. I believe I think it was by CG Dive, very good channel. Yeah, that is how I created this thing here. And if you want it, 25 quid, 10% off right now. That's the rig. Thank you.